meets that thing called life. I appreciate you being here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. We appreciate your patience here this morning, and thank you so much for being a part of the show. I hope you're having a fantastic day today. Happy Friday, happy early start to your weekend, and happy International Hall of Fame Boxing Weekend. The fights are happening tonight. The Friday night fights on Showtime will be at Turning Stone Resort and Casino, and I am ecstatic to be covering those fights, covering those events, and I look forward to seeing you out there. So hopefully you'll be out there to hang out and have some fun. So all this good stuff going on. Cannot wait for the fights tonight, and very honored and privileged about the opportunity that I have to be a part of this. So really excited about this, and really looking forward to the opportunity of getting out there and covering these fights. So I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and we're going to have a great Friday, and can't wait to do that. So a lot of good stuff coming up here on the show on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. Inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin', we're going to be bringing you our trio of signature segments, as we always do on a Friday, starting things off with the annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by Carvel, DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York. It is what happy tastes like. We'll go from there to lead, learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver is what the acronym stands for, proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. And within that today, we're going to be discussing the topic in lead, seeing through the haze, which is a very easy topic to discuss in connection to what's actually been going on here in America, right? Having to see through the actual haze that came from the Canadian wildfires. So seeing through the haze is going to be the topic of conversation today inside of Lead. And then we'll announce our top dog of the week. The top dog of the week, proudly presented by K9 Kamp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding. And that'll be coming to you around 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And then we'll get into my conversation with Vinny D'Oria. And Vinny D'Oria is going to be joining me here from his time at Marywood University. My alma mater will be speaking on his time with the baseball team, as well as Major League Baseball, and choosing the good overall. So a lot of great stuff coming up with Vinny D'Oria around 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time, picture-in-picture for live video and audio all around the world. So a lot of great stuff here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and however you're connecting with the show, we thank you so much for tuning in on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. You can find us live on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, and on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com. So however you're connecting with us this morning and every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, we thank you and we appreciate you very much for your connection with us here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. And of course, once the shows go live, you can hop into our archives and find us in so many different places on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, MixLR, Podbean, Podvine, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, Player FM, YouTube, and more. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on your favorite podcasting platform, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. So we thank you for checking out our podcast, hanging out with us, and listening to us live, as well as on the playback wherever you are around Central and Upstate New York, our second home of the great state of Florida, as well as on the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the world. So however you're connected to Wake Up Call, thank you for your connection to us. Thank you for your love, your support, and your positivity. As always, it goes a long way and means a lot to me. So with that being said, we're going to jump into those trio of segments that we have here. First, with the annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by the wonderful team at Carvel, DeWitt.
Dan Tortora proudly brings you...
Is that for real? Are you kidding me?
The annoying moment of the week.
I really, honestly, I don't know how to respond to this.
Presented by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street. It's what happy tastes like.
Do you have to be that crazy? I guess so.
The annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by the fantastic team at Carvel, DeWitt, led by Jay Cartini. Want to thank them all and send them all love. Ross saying, go Pacers. Yes, sir. Happy morning and a good morning to you, to my buddy Ross, one of the best people out there when it comes to so many different things, when it comes to being a friend, when it comes to being a father and a husband, and of course, when it comes to the sports world and his broadcasting and journalism overall abilities that he has, second to none to me, and very happy to have him here on the broadcast as we do throughout the year, and of course to always have his support. So much love to Ross, and many positive thoughts coming your way, buddy, as always. So I hope you're doing well. So with that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, the annoying moment of the week, man, relationships. Relationships. That's the annoying moment of the week, because it's so hard today, in today's world, to have a romantic relationship. It's so hard to meet new people and to have that relationship. It is. It's tough. It's difficult. It's annoying. That's why it's the annoying moment of the week, because it is. It's a really tough thing to do, is to have a relationship in today's world. And maybe I should just say today's America, because maybe it's easier in other countries. But here it seems to be just god awfully difficult. And I should say gosh awfully difficult. Pardon me, God, on that. So it's hard, right? It's hard to have relationships in today's world. It's not easy in a lot of cases.
It's hard.
It's
It's hard to have relationships
in
today's world.
It's not easy. It's not fun. It's not fun. It's not exciting. It's not something you look forward to. Oh, I can't wait to go out on this date and figure things out. You try to keep your head up and you try to be positive about it, because you have to be, right? You got to keep a positive attitude. As my grandmother always said, what's the alternative? So you got to keep a positive attitude when you're out there. But it is so hard to date in today's world. I went on a date recently, and I asked the woman on the date, I was like, hey, it says on your social media that you're still married. And she was like, yeah, I am. And I was like, okay, well, then why are you on this date? And it's like, well, we've been separated. Oh, well, okay. Then why are you still married on your social media? Why would you even put that out there? If somebody dates you, then somebody's like, wait, put it to you like this. If I'm dating somebody and my mom checks their social media, my mom goes, hey, you know what? I just want to see what this person's all about, because that's what friends do. That's what family does, whether or not you ask them to. So mom goes to check social media, right? And she goes, why is it my son's been on 5 dates with this woman and she's married? What's going on with this? So, to me, so that's one of the annoying moments of the week is, I was like, hey, you're still married. Yeah. Okay. Well, what does this mean? And it's like, well, we didn't get divorced because it costs money. And you hear that from people all the time. We didn't get divorced because it costs money. Okay. If you don't want to be with the person, you get divorced. This whole, it costs money. Okay, well, when somebody meets you and you're still married and you still have a ring on your ring finger, you're telling us that you're not with this person anymore, but you're married on social media, you've got a ring on your ring finger. What's to make us believe that anything that you're saying is true? And ultimately, I said, well, why are you still, well, just in case we ever got back together, we didn't want to necessarily get divorced, so we had the opportunity to get back together. Well, that's great. That's awesome. That's ridiculous. Why would anybody go on a date with somebody who is in that situation, who's married publicly, who's married legally, and who left the door open to get back together with their alleged ex, who they just went on vacation with? So that would be an example of relationships being the annoying moment of the week. And it's also, things get lost in translation, right? Somebody asks you to explain yourself. You explain yourself. And while you're explaining yourself, they say, why are you explaining yourself? You already told this story, but you just asked me to explain myself. It becomes so difficult where it doesn't need to be difficult. And I was talking to my buddy about this yesterday. We were having dinner and we were discussing it. And I said, dude, I just don't get it anymore. I don't understand why things have to be so hard when you're dating. Why you have to go through so much scrutiny and garbage and ridiculousness just to be dating? Why does it have to be hard? It shouldn't have to be difficult, right? Life is difficult already. The person that you're dating, they should make you feel better. They should make you feel safe. It shouldn't be a project to date somebody. It should never be a project to date somebody. It should come easily, right? It's not a project for me to be friends with the friends I'm friends with, right? That's not a project to me. It's not, oh, okay, every time I go to dinner with Isaac, it's got to be this and it's got to be... No, I don't have to think. I could just go have dinner, have a good time. Oh, when I'm talking to Ross, it's a project. No, it's not a project. It's fun. It's exciting. It's relaxing. It should be relaxing. Life can be hard enough. Why should we make life any harder than it already is? You know? And in the dating world today, I feel like people make things so difficult, so hard, so ridiculous. And so it's my annoying moment of the week, because when you go on a date with somebody who's got a ring on the ring finger and is saying, oh yeah, I'm married still, and I'm married publicly, and I didn't take it off my social media, but, you know, I could be on this date right now, and you're sitting here going, why do I feel like I'm going to get a knock at my door and somebody saying to me, stay away from my wife, when this person said that they, you know, can go on a date and this and that. So I don't understand people in the decisions that they make sometimes. It doesn't mean I make the most positive. It doesn't mean I make the best decisions. I don't think I'm perfect at all. But, you know, I find myself defending myself. If I want to do something for myself, I'm defending why I want to do something for myself when I'm doing everything for that person as well. You know, I had that conversation last night. I said, listen, I'm sitting here defending myself because I did something I wanted to do. And it didn't hurt anybody. And it wasn't a bad thing. I just went and I rode a ride that I wanted to ride at Disney. And just so happened she couldn't ride the ride. But I wanted her to ride the ride. But I had to defend myself. And Greg says, the new dating app any better than the... Greg, I'm not on them anymore. And that's the thing about dating, too, is that dating apps, why is that how people want to meet each other now? Why is this what you want to do, people? It's not good. It's not healthy. It's not okay. You know? Because the thing is, you get on these dating apps, you match with somebody, you say hello to them, they never answer you back. It takes days, weeks. Sometimes they don't answer ever. And you're like, what is the point of this? You talk to somebody on the phone and they're immediately telling you their list, and this is what I want, and this is what I need, and you need to be everything that like I have on my list. It's so ridiculous now. Why do we have to meet on dating apps? Why can't we meet at the grocery store? Why can't we meet? You know what? And that's a story that I don't want to tell people. Oh, how did you meet your wife? On Bumble? No, I don't want to tell people I met my wife on Bumble. I met my wife when I was at the Maid of the Mist in Niagara Falls. And, you know, the boat rocked a little bit. And we're under the falls, and it caused me to kind of stumble. And this woman was stumbling toward me, and I caught her. And and then I just looked at her after I caught her, because I instinctually just caught her so that she wouldn't fall. And then she looked at me and smiled, and she took, you know, her poncho down, and she said, hey, and I said, hey, and then that was it. And we went to get coffee, and here's the history. Those are the stories that I want to tell. How many romantic comedies met on Bumble? You know, I mean, when you watch a romantic comedy, oh, I met on Bumble, oh, I met on Tinder, oh, I met on Facebook. Now, does it happen? Yes. Do I have friends that have met each other through dating apps? Of course. Of course. But is it the way you want to go? No. What did Joel say? Just got to listen to the Barbers from Coming to America. Nice. But you think about this, dating is such a difficult thing in today's world. And I don't want to say that I met somebody on a dating app. That's not how I want to meet somebody. I want to meet somebody through a friend. I want to bump into them, like I said, be on the Maid of the Mist, whatever. Be out doing something and bump into people. But people are so angry now. They're defensive now. Because people say, oh, you see somebody pretty at the grocery store. Why don't you say hello? Because they look miserable. Like a lot of people that are out there right now, and I can't speak to how the men look because I'm not looking at the men, but so I'm sure they could look miserable too. But from my perspective, the women that are out, they look miserable. They look like, don't touch me, don't look at me, don't be around me, leave me alone. So it's like you can't go up and tap her on the shoulder and say, hey, miss, I think that's a beautiful dress. I just felt like I needed to tell you that, you can't be a gentleman anymore. You hold the door open, somebody just walks right through it sometimes. And it's no thank you, no I appreciate that. Just you open the door and they acted like that's my servant who is supposed to open the door for me. It's hard to be chivalrous now. It's hard to be a gentleman because it's not welcomely received by everybody. And that's why it's an annoying moment of the week, because I'm not a dating app guy. I've tried them, but I don't like them because I don't think it's genuine. I don't think it's real. And I've met people on it that I'm honestly, half of me thinks that they're regular people and half of me thinks they were hired by the Russian government to spy on me and America. Because the things that these people do, you're like, these can't be real human beings. Like, this has got to be a stage. This has got to, like, where's Ashton Kutcher? Come out here and show me the cameras. Because that's what it feels like. It's not fun to go out and do this anymore. And to be a guy who's in my 30s and, always wanted to, have that love, have that special somebody that I could treat like, like a one in infinity, and to have that story with her, and then to have kids and raise them and watch them grow and all of that. I mean, that's something that I always look forward to as a human being. But it's so hard now that it beats you down. And it's annoying, and it's the annoying moment of the week because everybody has these weird stories now. To me, everybody has these weird stories. And when people have these weird stories, it puts you in a situation where you don't know where things are going to go. And you don't know how things are going to go. So to me, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to be in the dating world and to have this craziness going on all the time where it becomes so difficult to just get to know somebody, to just be around somebody. It's not fun anymore. And I don't like that. It's heartbreaking to me because I feel like everybody should have a fair chance at love. And, there's people out there that are terrible parents that hate being parents, yet they get to be parents. There's people out there that have wonderful wives and wonderful husbands and they treat them like dirt, yet those people are still married to them. And yet there's people like me out there that wants to treat somebody good, that wants to be a great dad, and you don't have that opportunity. And those things become difficult to stomach because you hear people talking about their kids and talking about their spouses and, oh, I hate them and I don't like them and I don't want to be with them and I cheat on them and I do this and I do that. And then you're sitting here saying, like, I want the opportunity to do it the right way. And these people that have gotten the opportunity and are doing it the wrong way, they get to have these kids that they don't want to raise, that they don't care about. And why don't I get the opportunity to do it the right way? Because I have friends that are fantastic. They're great spouses. They love their significant other. They love their kids. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. I mean, my one buddy, Mark, just celebrated 10 years with his wife, Lindsay. And they have 2 little girls. And to see him happy makes me happy. Because I'm not one of those people where it's like, oh, if somebody has what I want, then I'm going to be pissed about it. I'm happy to see other people win, and I'm happy to see other people happy. And I know for them, they want to see the same for me. It's just this dating world. You know, they say you throw a bunch of things at the wall hoping that something sticks. It's not even like that anymore. Nothing's sticking to the walls. It's just, you know, if you want to meet someone, you got to go on a dating app. And you got to go through this whole profile, and you got to make sure your pictures look a certain way, and you got to be angled, and you have to show yourself with friends, and you have to so that they know that you have friends, and then you have to show yourself in nice clothes, and then you have to show yourself in dress down clothes, and then you have to show yourself with a full body, then you have to show yourself with, you know, so they could see your eyes, and then you have to smile, and then you have to write certain things, you have to say certain things, and it's just ridiculous. It's like auditioning for a movie, but it's just stupid. You know, it's just stupid. And I meet people and they're like, you look a lot better than your pictures show you as. And I'm like, well, my picture's me and I don't know what angles I'm supposed to be using. But dating apps, they're not desirable because it's fake and it's flawed. And people are just sifting through it like a grocery store. And then you hear from some of these women and they're like, oh, I just go on the dating app so that people tell me I'm pretty. I just like to go on here to boost my ego. I don't even want to date anybody. I just like going on there seeing that people like me. And you're like, ew. You know, ew. So, but that happens, right? That happens all the time. It happens all the time on dating apps. It's this flawed system. And then when you go out on dates and you get to meet people, sometimes people will, you know, nitpick you and question you and challenge you. Why did you wear that? Why are you doing this? Why do you say this? Why do you do that? And it's like, there's so many problems in today's world. Why can't people just take you as you are and love you as you are? I have friends that are different sexualities, different colors of the rainbow, different religions, different this, different that, different money, different countries, but I love them all the same. And why can't people, you know, why do people have to make things difficult is what I'm saying. Love isn't hard. People are hard. Joel said, you'll find your leading lady, bud. Keep your head up. Thank you, brother. But it becomes a task. It becomes a job. It becomes exhausting. And then the other thing that's the annoying moment to me is when people say you find it when you least expect it. And my response to them is, do you find your car keys when you're not looking for them? Did I create my job by not looking to build it and looking up stuff and trying to find ways to... No, I didn't create my business by not doing the work, by not searching for it. I don't find my car keys by not searching for it. I don't find my phone by not searching for it. I don't sit on the couch and go, my phone will find me. I just have to not look for it. So the whole, like, don't look for it and then you'll find it, I think that's a hard thing for me to take, and I think it's a hard thing for a lot of people to take, because if you're a loving, caring person, you're always going to be seeking that love. And I don't want to become a bitter person, because if I'm not seeking it, it means I got to a point where I'm so mad and angry that that when I do find it, I'm going to push it. I'm going to push it away. So I just think love is a crazy dance, and it doesn't need to be as hard as it is. And, you know, Two Mics, No Filter, which was a segment on this show here on Wake Up Call that is now turned into its own show that we air every Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. That's where we get to dive into this stuff deeper. And when I say we, Andrea Smith and I would implore you guys to go and check it out, youtube.com/@2micsnofilter and 2micsnofilter.podbean.com, and on Twitter and Instagram @2micsnofilter. And you can find us on Spotify, TuneIn, Boomplay, Podchaser, iHeartRadio, and so on and so forth by searching Two Mics No Filter. So make sure you do that. But yeah, I mean, my annoying moment of the week this week has to be that. It has to be the, you know, you find it when you're not looking for it quotes, or, you know, don't care about it. And it's such a crazy dance. But yet I'm so happy for my people, right? I'm happy that Greg found somebody. I'm happy Joel found somebody. I'm happy Ross found somebody. I'm happy James found somebody. I love to see that. I love to see that blossom and grow and be beautiful. And at the same time, you're out here like, why is it so dang hard? You know, and And it's defeating to somebody after a while, because I've dated the rogues gallery of Batman's villains. I've dated Arkham Asylum. I believe I've dated Hannibal Lecter and possibly Charles Manson. But now, in female form, of course, but now here I am, and, you know, you're looking to have that. And like I said, I'm never going to question God's plan. I joke about it and I talk about it here on the show. But God's plan is God's plan. And I'm not going to say that anything in my life is bad. I have a beautiful home with way too much for me. You know, Lily and I have more than enough. I love Lily to the moon and back. And I'm so grateful for my parents. I'm so grateful that they're alive. I love my friends. They are, so many of them are my brothers and my sisters. I love my little sister Franny so much. I love that I get to go to Disney anytime I want to, because God is good. God is great. I do what I love and I love what I do. I'm making all these connections. I am blown away by the life that God has blessed me with and worked with me to get to. You know, we just all have those days where, you know, you turn to your side and you get really good news and you get a new business partner and you add a new university or college and you do this or you do that, and you just want to turn and say, hey, babe. It's those moments that become tough. And so what I would tell you all in my strife is keep your head up, because I would never want you to cry. I'd never want you to be down. I never want you to hurt. And I know you don't want me to. So I guess the silver lining I find in all of this is that I have people that love me enough to say those nice things like, you'll find your leading lady. Keep your head up. Greg celebrating 20 beautiful years of marriage with his wife next month. Congratulations to you, brother. And God bless you and your wife. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. When we come back around, lead, learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver. What's the topic today? Proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. Seeing through the haze. It just seemed like the right metaphorical statement to make for everything that we've been through today. We'll talk with you right after this.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvelanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family friendly. Some family friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and so happy to be here with you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. A lot of great stuff coming up here on today's show. Of course, inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin', bringing you the annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt. Head out to Carvel today to get the DT Dolphin. It is our signature Sunday, only available at Carvel DeWitt. No other Carvel in the country, nowhere else. DT Dolphin, 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York. Our direct connection to the Lemoyne Dolphins and to Carvel DeWitt with this mint chocolate chip, green ice cream, hot fudge, whipped cream, cherry, green and gold sprinkles, and a chocolate dolphin jumping out of your whipped cream. Head over there, support your Dolphins, and have a Sunday that is fit for Division I. We look forward to seeing you over at Carvel DeWitt today. With that being said, we jump into our next piece today, which is Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver. That's what the acronym is. Proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, Deliver. That is Lead. And so always happy to be here with Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. Love the teams that are led by Jimmer Sikowski, one of my closest and nearest and dearest friends, and their owner-operator for both locations. Chick-fil-A Cicero on 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, New York, and Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Today's topic inside of Lead, seeing through the haze. What do I mean by that? Seeing through the haze. Well, I posted something yesterday, and I put it on my social media. And seeing through the haze was, I now, you know, when I, on Instagram, for those of you that follow on @wakeupcall_DT, if you don't, you should. And if you do, thank you so much. Whenever I put up an inspirational quote, I always sign them individually so that you know that these came from me. It's like a letter to myself and a letter to all of you. So I put up this quote that I created yesterday. Sometimes it's so hard to see through the haze. We focus on what is blocking us from the light, from the sun, instead of believing the sun will shine through. It will. Believe. Sometimes it's so hard to see through the haze. We focus on what is blocking us from the light, from the sun, instead of believing the sun will shine through. It will. Believe. I said it twice because I really wanted you to hear it. I really needed you to hear it. Because it's really hard in a situation to see through the haze, right? To see through something that's going on in your life that's hurting you right now.
To see through
You're going through a breakup. You lost your job. You are at a time right now where maybe a friendship hasn't been working out. Maybe a business partnership didn't work out. Maybe somebody didn't pay you. Maybe somebody didn't show up to your birthday. Maybe somebody didn't do something that just really would have mattered to you. You know, maybe somebody didn't keep their word, right? And it's led you to a place where you feel like you're in a haze, right? Maybe somebody ghosted you, right? They just stopped talking to you altogether. So it's left you in a haze. And you've been asking yourself, what did I do? What is this haze? Why is this haze? How do I get past this haze? And so many of us focus on the haze. We focus on that which in our life is hard, right? We focus on our problems. But when you focus on your problems, the issue that you face is that you're not focused on your solutions. If you're so focused on your problems, you're not focused on your solutions. And that is where I look at life and I say to you all, if you're so focused on the problem, are you fixing the problem? Because to focus on a problem, you get lost in it sometimes, right? You get lost in what's going on. But if you focus on the solution, now you have hope. Now you have something to bring you there. Seeing through the haze. How do we see through the haze? How do we get to a point where we can see through the haze? Well, we have to be open to it. We have to be open to other people helping. Because sometimes seeing through the haze is seeing from a different angle. It's seeing from a different perspective. It's having somebody give us information that maybe we didn't have before. I'm not telling you that it's an easy thing to do to see through the haze. This past week in central and upstate New York, it was hard to see through the haze. It was dangerous outside, right? It was hazardous. It was hazardous to be outside. Air quality when it passes 51 can be unhealthy. It was 402. It was beyond unhealthy. It was 8 times unhealthy. So, how do you navigate through unhealthy air, unhealthy relationships, unhealthy situations? You do it, in my opinion, first and foremost by praying. I know a lot of people try to live this life without God. I know that. And I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm not saying that people don't live positive lives even if they struggle to believe in something. But without God, to me, how do you have that compass? How do you have that direction? I think in today's world, so many people are trying to refute God, trying to get rid of God, trying to cancel God, as if God is some reality TV character. You can't erase God. God can erase you, but you can't erase God. See, we have this belief that we don't need God anymore. God got us here, or something did, that some people believe, but we don't need it anymore. We call God the universe. Well, who created the universe? How did the universe come to be? Why does everybody believe that this entire existence that we have, all these planets, all these galaxies, all these solar systems, were just made by accident? They just happened. Everything just perfectly happened. That human beings just evolved. And if that's the case, why have we not evolved in over 2,000 years? If evolution came from amoebas to fish to beings that, I don't even know. I mean, to fish, to land creatures, to the evolution of the ape, to human being. And we haven't evolved since then. And how come certain apes haven't evolved? How come some fish have stayed fish? See, it's not that there's not other ways to describe life, but it's like, where does logic come in? If we evolved from fish, there shouldn't be any more fish. If we evolved from apes, there shouldn't be any more apes. Because what are you saying? That some of those apes had the right genes to evolve and the other ones just stayed where they were? See, if you take God out of society, society is doomed to fail. And that's not me preaching. I'm not standing on a pulpit. It's my opinion. But look at the world. When I was a little kid, we talked about God. We talked about church. It was, God bless this and God bless this, and saying God in schools, and God was everywhere. God was welcomed into schools, welcomed into homes, welcomed into buildings, welcomed into institutions, welcomed into businesses. Was there a lot of school shootings back then when God was openly welcomed into things? Was there a lot of constant, was there unrest? Yes. Was there racism? Because that's man-made. Yes. There were things back then that were there, but life seemed nicer, kinder. People didn't seem to be as hateful of everybody. People have always had issues with if I don't look the same as this person, or if I don't talk the same as this person. But God is, to me, when you take God out of the world, look at the world now. When we had Columbine in America, we all stopped and said we couldn't believe it could happen here. Now we have Columbine-like events that happen multiple times a year. People are afraid to go to movie theaters. They're afraid to go to malls. They're afraid to go to school. They're afraid to go to the store. It wasn't like that before. Police officers are afraid to be police officers. They're afraid to do their job because, yes, there are some bad cops. But then the good cops are now afraid to be cops because people have said that all cops are bad. They've grouped all these cops together, so now cops are afraid to be cops. We're living in a society right now that the more God is canceled, the deeper we get into this black hole. The deeper we fall into this haze. And I'm not telling people what they have to do. Ever. I'm just saying, is not believing in God helping us? Is not believing in God making us better people? Is not believing in God? What is God? Morals, values, love, kindness, generosity, equality, lack of prejudice, lack of racism, lack of sexism, joy, positivity, laughter, innocence, the absence of ignorance, the absence of hate. That is God. God is all of those things. So why are we not seeking God at a time where hate is at an all-time high? Negativity, prejudice, racism, sexism, grouping of people, violence, sexuality is everywhere. And I'm all about people feeling good in their own skin, but we're sexualizing children now. The haze is deep, and we can't see through it because we are but human. We are only human. We are not God. We do not know the right decision every single time. There's no human being on this planet that will make the right decision every single time, except for Jesus Christ. There's nobody that will make the right decision every single time. Nobody, because we are not perfect. We are not perfect. And we have tried by ourselves to fix society. So what is the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. We have tried to do it as one party or the other. We've tried to do it as one state or the other. New York does things differently than Florida. Democrats do things differently than Republicans. Catholics do things differently than Muslims. Why are we not working together? Why are we not together? And what is the string that binds us all? Who is the person sitting at the sewing machine tying us all together? God. Yet every chance we get, we push God away. Why? Because it's the cool thing to do? Because we're afraid of it? You know, I met so many people in recent history that don't believe in God, and I said, why? Why? What did God do to you that you don't believe, that you can't believe, that you won't believe? Why are you so angry? And it seems like nobody can give me a great answer. Now, you do hear, well, my grandfather died, my mom died of cancer, this person, that. So something bad happened. And I don't believe, because God wouldn't have let that happen. God wouldn't have let these schools be attacked. God wouldn't have done this. God wouldn't have done that. God wouldn't have let this hurricane hit my house. And I don't know how to answer those questions. But I know that every time a figurative or literal hurricane hit a house, God was there. I went to Hurricane Katrina, the aftermath. God was there. God was in the homes. God was in the families. God was in the hearts. God was in the minds. God was there. God was apparent. God was shouting where Hurricane Katrina was. The government wasn't there. Some of these people, so-called friends and family, didn't show up. But God was there. When humanity failed, God was there. When somebody says they hate police officers, and then they get robbed or something bad happens and they need a cop, God was there. God was there. We can't say all cops are bad, because then we would have to say all teachers are bad. All pilots are bad. All broadcasters are bad. All lawyers are bad. All doctors are bad. Now, are there some bad doctors? Yeah, I've met some. Have I been misdiagnosed before of stuff? Absolutely. Have I had doctors refuse to help me and not even seem like they care? Have I had doctors with massive egos that spent more time telling me how great they are than prescribing anything or any remedy? Yeah. Have I felt lost? Yeah. But how dare I say that every doctor's bad because I've met a few? Or that everybody that works at an airline is bad because of one video posted on social media of one airline with one flight attendant, one time. I know it's stereotypical to say all lawyers are bad. But my dad fought to try and help people feel safe, secure, and heard for over 40 years. And I've met so many wonderful people. Nick DiMartino, Bobby Walczyk, to name a couple. Teddy. That care. Teddy Kaiser. So deeply that how dare you say every lawyer, investigator, cop is bad? I've had bad teachers, but I've also had teachers that to this day still guide me when they're not even talking to me. So many people in the media are ugly and dirty and mean-spirited. I'm saying ugly-spirited. Not ugly on the outside, ugly-spirited. Yet, I've met some of my best friends in the media. We have to see through the haze by seeing us the way that God sees us. That's the only way you can see through the haze. You can't see humanity through your eyes because we see life based on things that we've been through. People react to current situations based on past experience. We are the victim of our own experiences, good, bad, and indifferent. If we have been hurt, sometimes we respond to things over the top because we expect to get hurt again. We have to see through the haze. We have to understand How many years have we lived in central New York and there has never been a haze? Air quality has never been this bad. We've never experienced this. And we didn't care because we woke up every day with the audacity and the ignorance and the selfishness of thinking that we deserve clean, perfect air every single day. We don't even think about it when we wake up because we think we deserve it. We think that the air should be that way. We turn the faucet on expecting there to be water. We flip the switch on in our studios, in our businesses, in our homes, expecting the lights to turn on. If they didn't, well then who did something to us? We flip a switch on every day and we never think about it. We don't thank God for the light. We expect it to be there. We don't thank God for the air. We expect it to be clean. We don't thank God for the water. We expect the water to run. We expect there to be no chemicals, no lead, nothing in the water. We don't expect things to happen like Flint, Michigan. We just expect things to work. We turn our car on expecting the car to go. We expect things to just work. And when they don't, we get mad. When they don't, we get angry. But how dare us presume that everything is supposed to just be there? And I would ask you, who created it? Who created the air that you breathe? Who made this water run? Well, Dan, obviously companies did this, and this so that we could have water in our homes. Yeah, but where does that water come from? The oceans. Where do the oceans come from? The earth. How did this earth come to be? By total mistake. Seeing through the haze is seeing beyond what the media is telling you. You turn on the TV and they tell you like, the media didn't say that Flint, Michigan had bad water. They might have said it after the fact when they had to say it. But they didn't say it. Did they say it initially? Did they warn you before they had to warn you? I was driving in an Uber, and my driver was from Africa. And he said something to me that I've never forgotten. He said, in the media, he's like, if you watch CNN, you watch whatever, you watch the media. He said, the media will tell you that the good parts of Africa are bad and the bad parts are good. He's like, I've been in Africa. I've lived in Africa. They literally, here in America, they tell you that the bad Africa, they tell you these parts of Africa are bad and they're actually good. And they tell you these other parts are good and they're actually not that safe. And that's somebody coming from the country saying, I watch your news and they're literally lying to you about where to go and where not to go. The haze is there. The haze is in the media. The haze is in the air. The haze is in life. And you need to sift through it. And you say, Dan, how do I see through the haze? If I can't trust everyone, how do I see through it? You see through it by trusting the one thing that's never going to let you down. God. God is never going to let you down. God is not going to leave you in the mall when he promised you were going to get lunch. God is not going to not hear you when you cry out. Sometimes we believe that God is not answering us. But God has 3 answers to every prayer. Yes, or yes, but not right now, or no, because I have another plan for you. I have something better for you. Unanswered prayers are sometimes the best ones. I can't tell you why people get cancer, why people get diabetes. I can't tell you why children die. I can't tell you why there's school shootings. I can't tell you why my grandfather's passed away when I was 6. But I can tell you that this haze that we live in every day, that is created by the media, that is created by our past experiences, things that cloud our judgment, cloud our ability to see. People that raised us to be racist, raised us to be prejudiced, raised us to be sexist, raised us to tell us that this is a woman's role in our life or this is a man's role. There's some women that treat men like dirt because they were taught that. There's some men that treat women like they're supposed to be our slave because they were taught that. The haze is taught. The haze is what is here. There's always going to be haze. How do you see through it? You cannot see through it on your own accord. You are not perfect. You cannot see through the haze by yourself. It is God that grants you the ability to see through the haze. It is only God that you can see through the haze. Because if you seek to see through the haze from people and people alone, people are not perfect. People lie, people cheat, people steal. I have seen this week the caliber of human being that to me is, I didn't even know that certain people could stoop to the levels I've seen them stoop to. And it breaks my heart. It hurts to see people do such heinous, terrible, horrible things to people. But again, they're people. They're not perfect. So you can believe in God or not believe in God. But why is this world spinning on its axis upside down and around the corner? Why do we feel like the world is only getting worse? Because we refuse to thank our Maker, our Creator. I had a thing last week. I had so many blessings in one day in the morning. Not even in a day. I had so many blessings in the first 2 hours that I was awake. I can't even count them all. I remember calling my mom going, "Mom, this happened, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened." Thanking God is not going to ever ruin your life. Believing in God is not going to hurt you. That's why I don't understand. People refuse to believe in God like something bad can come out of it. God is only going to make you better. Only going to make you... Opening your heart to Jesus Christ, to God, to the Holy Spirit, to the Lord Himself, herself, whatever self, God, because God is not a sex. God is not a gender. God is the way to see through the haze. It's the belief that something's going to get better. Where does your hope come from? Where does your faith come from? Where does your belief come from? You walk on land, you drink water, but you don't thank the person that put it there. You don't thank, or not the person, you don't thank the being that put it there. You wake up every day and you go through the motions without being grateful for those motions. Then when all of a sudden haze shows up in central New York and we can't see and we can't breathe and it's not safe, we say, wow, I've gone my whole life never having to worry about going outside. If you want to see through the haze of your life, you have to be willing to see the error of your ways, see your flaws, see how past experiences have affected you. And if you want a guiding light to always guide you in the right direction, trust in God. Because your mom makes mistakes, your dad makes mistakes, your brothers, your sisters, your friends, your teachers, your mentors, and your neighbors. Everybody makes mistakes. So if you attach your horse to a human and you ask that human to guide you, even if that human makes no mistakes, if they die one day, how do you carry on? God is the thread that binds us all. And I know some people are going to take this entire segment and think that I'm preaching and telling you what to do. And why did Dan go off on this tangent? It's supposed to be a sports show. Because, folks, people in sports, people in entertainment, and people with no connection to either, we're all human beings. We all need guidance. And let me ask you this question. How come in a world that seems like it's moving in the wrong direction, every time I talk to an athlete, 99.9% of the time, they mention God, they thank God, they talk about God? My world in sports is surrounded by people that believe in God. Yet we want to keep thinking we can do this thing on our own. We don't need anybody. And how far does that get the people in your life that you love? Those people that refuse help, refuse to go to therapy, refuse to talk about their problems. The people that try to do it alone, how far do they get? Then why are you trying to do it? We all see that we can only go so far alone. Why are we trying to do it alone then? Why are we hell-bent on doing everything alone? This world, how do you bond people that are different? By reminding us that we all came from the same family. If we all believed that we came from the same family, the same God, and the same Maker, we would be better. Because if we actually believed that we all came from the same family, how could we not, deep down, seek to love each other? You want to see through the haze? Get down on your knees and pray. Because I promise you, the only thing that's ever helped me see through the haze is the big guy. It's the only time. It's the only time I've ever clearly seen through the haze. I'm not telling you things for any other reason. I have no agenda. The only reason why I ask people to believe in God and be open to God is because I want people to be happy and I want them to be good to each other. Everything that I ever talk about on this show is for my desire for people to be kind, generous, humble, loving, caring, and open. If you lead with a loving heart and an open mind, how could you go wrong? That's all I ask, and that's all I want. If you want to see through the haze, you have to be willing to, number one, know that you're not right all the time. And number two, you got to be willing to know that you came from something higher than you, bigger than you. Human beings will make excuses for everything that they do, good, bad, or indifferent. If we feel like we have nothing to answer to, how will we ever get better? God was not fabricated and created so that we would have something to focus on. God created us, and yet we're deciding whether or not God exists. How ironic. Give God a chance, man. Give God a chance. Could the world get any worse with love, attention, focus, joy, positivity? I feel like pushing God away is like pushing away my mom when she makes me dinner. Me being hungry but refusing to eat her food. Or when a friend says, "Let me put my arm around you. Let me hold you while you cry." You push away God, you're pushing away a shoulder to cry on, food to eat, drink to have. Why would we do that? Why would we push away that which loves you more than anything else? If you put all your love into a significant other and they leave someday, they cheat on you, they hurt you, then all of a sudden you have nothing. If you put all your love into your job, but you don't see yourself beyond that, then when you stop working someday, you're not going to know who you are. If you want to see through the haze, maybe it's time we start realizing that we didn't make the air, but we made the haze. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. We'll be back right after this.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York, open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, you can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you? This is a special message from Merritt Brady, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Watertown on 1290 Arsenal Street in Watertown, New York.
Chick-fil-A for me has always been about the people. I think it starts with the strength and leadership of the Cathy family. It's just amazing to see a family-run business reach the altitude that they have. Second mile service is something that we embodied at my previous business, and the ability to make people feel like they're the only person at your establishment, that you are there to serve them that day and looking for those extra ways to make them happy, to anticipate what they need next is what makes me tick. And I'm going to have so many opportunities at Chick-fil-A to do that. It's one of my favorite things to eat in the world. My favorite application question or interview question when I'm interviewing is when I get to, have you ever eaten at Chick-fil-A? And a smile hits both their ears. You know, they can't even answer the question for a second. And when I see that, it's like, man, that's going to be a great hire. They already get it. They already feel it. They already know that we're different. The Chick-fil-A experience, it's a real thing. And then, of course, just our generosity and community involvement and making a positive impact in the lives of our team members, our guests, and the community in general, I think is really the secret sauce.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, here where sports truly meets that thing called life. And I appreciate you being here and so thankful that you're here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. It is time for us to jump in to the top dog of the week. I want to let everybody know that coming up in just a few minutes, we'll have Vinny Dioria joining the show. Vinny Dioria, coming from my alma mater of Marywood University. We're going to talk about Marywood baseball and his time there, as well as Major League Baseball, and we'll get into, choosing the good on his end as well, and end this week with more positivity to send you on your merry way with. So always looking to spread positivity, always looking to spread the good, and to help people
Recording
to
in
see
progress.
the good in others, because we need to see that positivity, and we need to find that strength and help people out. I just really, truly hope that people can see the positive, see the good, and if you're having trouble, that you reach out. Sometimes it's hard to find, the right therapist, the right doctor, the right friend, the right girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. And that's why I tell people, if you have God and God is your base, then you're not constantly saying, well, I'd be better today if I was doing this. I'd be better today if I had this, if I had a girlfriend, I had a boyfriend, if I had a job, if I had that, if I had money. If you have God, you realize you really don't need any of that stuff. It ends up finding you. So with that being said, it's time for us to bring in the top dog of the week. My top dog of the week this week has got to be my friend that I appreciate so very much, Christy Salters Martin. She's my top dog of the week because everything that she's done in the boxing world and beyond, she pays it forward, and she's continued to do that. And I'm so proud of her for the work that she's done to pay it forward. She's been a wonderful, wonderful asset. And, to so many people, because she's willing to work and pay it forward and help other people to grow, to blossom, to evolve. And we're seeing that tonight in the Friday night fights. Keemon Evans, that's her fighter. And she's coming here with Christy Martin Promotions, going to Turning Stone Resort and Casino, going to the Friday night fights, going to the International Boxing Hall of Fame weekend as an International Boxing Hall of Famer. And she's going to be spreading that positivity, that love, and paying it forward for Keemon. She could have just said, hey, you know what? I had a successful boxing career. I did well. It did a lot for me. Good luck to everybody else out there. See you later. But she didn't. She is seeking to help with Christy Martin Promotions, with Christy's Champs. She's paying it forward. And that's what I always look to, is when people are out there and they achieve their dreams, or they're working toward their dream, whatever they're doing, when people are working to be successful, are they helping other people? Are they trying to bring other people with them to leave a positive mark on others? So Christy's my top dog of the week because Christy has continued to grow, evolve, challenge herself. But in the midst of all of this, she's helping other people. Keemon Evans, Pete White, the team that's going to be there tonight in the Friday night fights at Turning Stone, they work with Christy because Christy wanted to help other people grow, other people advance. She didn't just want boxing to be successful for her. She wants it to be successful for other people too. And people that run after their dreams and help other people run after theirs, those are the best people. Because it's one thing to chase your dreams. It's another thing to help other people chase theirs. And I applaud it, and I support it, and I appreciate it, and I love it. And I'm thankful for her. That's why Christy is our top dog of the week. Proudly presented by Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding. The best place to bring your dog for short and long-term care, both in East Syracuse, across from BJ's. Make sure you get out there today, right off of Bridge Street. Canine Camp Dog Daycare is on 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse. You can call them at 315-437-7110 and find out more information on k-9kamp.com. And, of course, for the Kampground Dog Boarding, for longer-term care for your dog. Every dog gets their own cabin, so they have their own space, and you can get in touch with them. They fill up quick, so call them today, 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013 for Canine Kampground Dog Boarding. And, of course, you can get more information on their location at 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse by going to kampground.com. We appreciate Lorraine, Chad, and the entire team. This has been your top dog of the week, Christy Salters-Martin, and Vinny Diorio is coming up right after this fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life.
In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbeville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also, I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was, selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. I appreciate you being here and so grateful to have you here on a TGIF. It's always good to jump into the weekend with you. I feel very honored and very privileged for these moments and these opportunities. And you talk about being honored and privileged. Well, this is an opportunity that I have that I'm so grateful for. Vinny Dioria here with me this morning. Now, Vinny comes to me from my alma mater, which is a beautiful thing to be able to have this connection here. And, coming from Marywood University, I took so much away from it, love so many things about it. And to have Vinny here on the show with me today to celebrate us having that unique experience of going to the same place and bring that positivity into your weekend is what we're here for. So I took something away from having Vinny on the show before. And when you feel that positive energy and that goodness, you are drawn toward it. So I told Vinny that he'd come back, and I don't say things unless I mean them. So Vinny, how we doing?
I'm good, Dan. How you doing?
Doing very well. So bring me into what's up, man. How's life going? I mean, it's summer for you right now. So what's going on in Vinny's world now that we've stepped into summer?
Well, I mean, ever since baseball and school ended, life hasn't been as busy or hectic. But I've just been relaxing, enjoying my time before I enter the workforce full time coming up next Monday.
And what are you going to be doing?
I'm gonna be working as a manager in training with Cintas, so the uniform people.
And so for you, I mean, what's going to be the day to day for you? What are you going to be working on?
So it's a 15-month program. Through the first month, I'll be just learning kind of the ropes of everything, the books, the financials, human resource side of everything. And as a manager in training, I have to understand every aspect of the company. So for 2 months, I'll be working production, which I'll be kind of in the back of the warehouse, like unloading trucks and stuff like that and shadowing people there. And then 2 months after that, I'll be doing service. So I'll be going on truck routes with drivers and maybe even having my own truck route, doing a lot of customer service interaction. And then like the majority of the rest of it is in sales on truck route, doing a lot of customer service and sell the products and just the overall business side of everything.
So is this something that you wanted to do? Is this an exciting opportunity for you? Is this a world that you're looking forward to living in?
Yeah, it wasn't ever anything, I guess, you grow up like dreaming about, but after getting my marketing degree and I have a couple credits left towards my master's degree, I had a friend of mine that came to me. He knew I was about to be done with school and said, "Hey, like I'm in this position right now. It's a real good job, real good growth opportunities. Company is Fortune 500 company, the leader in their sector, obviously." And after going for my first few interviews, I kind of got a good family-oriented feel about the company, and they made me feel really at home. They attracted me by wanting me to work for them, not only me wanting to work for them. So it was an exciting opportunity that came my way, and it all worked out.
Coming here from Vinny Dioria here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Vinny, your time finished up at Marywood University as far as baseball goes. How do you reflect on this past season, and how do you reflect on your career as a whole as a collegiate baseball player?
Ever since the beginning of my college career, there's been so many ups and downs. With my freshman year, I tore my rotator cuff. I won the starting job and then tore my rotator cuff and was out for the entire season. And then I came back and was still kind of laboring through the recovery for my shoulder, but I was cleared to play, even though I wasn't where I wanted to be. And I had kind of platooned my sophomore year just because I wasn't 100% healthy. And then COVID had shut that year down. And then coming back my junior year, again, just a shortened season. So it wasn't until last year, my true senior year, that I got my first full 35-plus game season under my belt. So then after my senior year had concluded, it just felt like there was unfinished business, and it wasn't time for me to step away from the game yet. And so I made a decision to come back and play in my graduate year with the eligibility I was given back. And it was, I'd still say, even though it wasn't the success we were looking for as a team, it was still the best decision I made. Being able to see the game through a different lens, almost knowing that I was one step out the door, I was able to enjoy playing the game of baseball, as well as, I guess, passing my own wisdom down to the younger generation of guys that were going to take over the team. Because my senior year, when I had been voted captain, I still had sixth years, fifth years, guys that I was under my freshman year. So I still had them to kind of lean on and be there for my support system. But this past year, it was completely different, because I was one of two or three guys left in my original freshman year class. So it was very new. I remember I had said to you last summer, before the season before we even got in campus in the fall, how we were going to have 20 new guys on the team.
Yeah.
And we ended up having a 41-man roster. 2 guys were injured, so it was 39 guys and 20 new guys. So it was a weird adjustment, a big adjustment, a lot of different personalities, a lot of clashing here and then, a lot of ups and downs throughout the year. We'd have one really good game, and then have one rough game, and then have one tight loss, and then we'd blow a team out. And it was just kind of this tedious cycle where we couldn't, I guess, get on a roll, sort of say. We had a lot of new faces and a lot of guys subbing in and out of different positions, but overall, it was a big learning experience for not only myself as a leader, not only for the new young guys, but I think for the coaches as well. So there's a lot to take out of this year. And even though we say it wasn't the success we wanted, we still ended up 15-23, which I guess on paper it's not the worst season. Actually, it's probably my second best season that I've had here, and I think it's a really good spot for these young guys to grow off of, because we had so many young starters on the team, and the program's going to be in a good place.
What is it that makes you believe that the program is going to be in a good place? That whatever adversity you go through now is going to pay off dividends? What makes you believe in that?
Well, I think a lot of it is the younger guys got their first taste of college baseball and what it's really about. The different personalities you'll come across, the different challenges you'll come across, seeing the other teams and seeing that there's guys even at Division III level. The conference pitcher of the year from Immaculata, he won second team All-American, I think, first team All-Region, pitcher of the year in the region. And, this is pitching and competition that you see at a higher level than Division III, and that these however many 2 or 3 starting freshmen we had have never seen before. So I think just getting that first taste of it while still having some of our veteran leadership around is going to put kind of get the ball moving, and these young guys could play. I said to them a lot. I was like, hey, I'm not claiming to be a superstar, but you guys are a lot better than I was at your age. So you guys are going to be just fine moving forward.
And Vinny, for you, I mean, when you reflect on going to Marywood University, would you have made that decision?
To Coach Thiel when I was in his office 2 weeks ago. It's the best decision I ever made. Sure, I could have went maybe made my way onto a Division II roster or whatever, but I wouldn't have had the opportunities that I did have. I wouldn't have been able to start and play for 4 or 5 years. I wouldn't have had the opportunity to be the captain for 2 years, and that's something that I'm forever grateful for, because it's given me leadership skills and stuff like that that's going to help me in the next aspect of my life.
Here with Vinny Dioria, Marywood baseball alum and going to Marywood University. Why would you tell somebody to go to Marywood, to go to our alma mater? What is it about Marywood that you think is worth mentioning?
Well, for me in high school, I had gone to a small private school, 400 kids in the school, 116 in my class. And when comparing like the size of a Division 3 like Marywood to a bigger Division 1, or even some big Division 3 schools like the University of Scranton, that's not far from Marywood, there's class sizes could be up over 100 kids per class sitting in a massive lecture hall where, you don't have that communication with your teacher like you do at Marywood University, where I don't think I ever had a class with more than 25 kids in it. And I even had some classes with as little as 5 kids in it. And that relationship you get with your professors really has a homey feel to me, like a tight knit feel, because it wasn't like someone was teaching me that I had no clue about their personal life or who they were. I had very great relationships with my teachers, and kind of knowing about them and them knowing about me made it so much easier for us to communicate and coexist.
Yeah, and I think for you, and for my experience too, you talk about the class size and getting to know your teachers and connecting with your teachers and having that. I mean, that's special, right? It makes it different. It makes it more fun. What would you tell? I mean, we live in a country now where people think I don't have to go to college. If I go to college, I don't want to pay for college. College should be free. I don't need to go to college because I could just make an app or whatever. Why do you think somebody should go to college?
I forgot where I heard this. I might have just been on an Instagram reel, and it was someone saying that when someone's hiring you, they don't necessarily care about what your major was. You see a lot of times where people in specific majors, they do something completely else in their life. What an employer is looking at is they want to see that you committed to something for 4 years, you showed up on time, you did your job, you got good grades. It's kind of a prerequisite to adjusting from childhood, I was 17 years old when I got to school, I was a kid, to going through your young adult life, experiencing college, experiencing what it's like to do things right by the book, and then moving into your professional career. So I think college is, at least for me, extremely vital. I know it's not for everybody, but at the end of the day, I don't regret a single thing.
And like you said, I mean, when you go like that commitment that you make, right? And when you mention that, I can't help but think about that in certain relationships that you have in life, be it a friendship, romantic relationship, or business. When I see people that weren't committing to things, and then I look back and I say, well, they didn't commit. They didn't commit to me. And I always call it like the cannon effect. When you see somebody that's like a cannon just firing at stuff, and you think, oh, okay, well, they're firing stuff, but it's not a big deal. They're not firing at me. And then eventually that cannon will turn and it'll fire at you, because that's what it does. It's like you see people doing certain things and you say, well, the cannon's not in my direction. But when it is in your direction someday, you had all this kind of build up to the fact that the cannon was coming. And that commitment factor, that side of it, I look to that. As a business owner, as a president and a CEO, I pay attention to that. And it's funny because I found myself saying, I've met people who weren't committed to this and weren't committed to that, weren't committed to the other thing. And then you try to bring them in and they're not committed to what you're doing. And it shouldn't surprise you because you've seen a trail of a lack of commitment, a lack of connection, somebody who jumps from job to job every single year, who doesn't really have a drive. None of their jobs, like, seemingly, there's no cohesiveness, there's no connective tissue to their jobs. They're just kind of working a job, but they don't have a career. And so when you mention that, I find that to be, that hits home for me because of what I've been through and what I've seen, that I think it's a great thing to mention. Why would people care about college? Why would businesses care about it? Because it shows that somebody was committed to something and they saw it through to the end. And that, to me, is a great reason and a great representation of college, because it's not only that. If you see somebody go to college and commit all the way through, then that makes you think they could commit in a relationship. They could commit in a friendship. They could commit. When somebody puts blood, sweat, and tears into something over a long period of time and sees it all the way through to the end and doesn't quit a month before it's over, or 3 years in, or 1 year in, it shows you that those people have responsibility, they have drive, they have dedication, and that they can respond positively to adversity. So I love, wherever you found that quote, I love that you shared that today, because I think anybody in any walk of life, professionally or personally, wants to see that somebody can be committed to something. That was great. I love how I just said all that and you're like, yeah. Uh-huh.
No, I fully agree. I mean, yeah, it goes further than just school, like you said. It goes into every aspect of life, family life, work, all that.
And you got to be committed to things. So going back to your coach, Jason Thiel, what is something that you want to say about him? What did you learn about him from day one to now? How would you describe him?
So I think you and I both, anybody that comes across him knows how warm and I guess comforting he is and welcoming. He's very easy to talk to. And I noticed that on my recruiting visits, there's a lot of visits I had gone on. The coach was very quick and short to the point and business oriented and got to get this done, get that done. But coach wanted to learn who I was. He cared about where I was from, my family, everything. And then I guess when I was younger in the program, I wouldn't say intimidated, but almost as any young guy would be, you want to impress your coach. And as I've grown through the program and had more and more communication with them, I realized that when we're at baseball, he's my coach, but I know outside of baseball that he's like a father figure to me. He's my friend. And he told me after my last ever game, he said, "Hey, you've done so much for us. And if there's anything I could ever do for you in the future, just let me know, that I got that for you." And he's already extended an offer that if I can't come back and play again, that I can stay around, be an assistant coach. But we'll see what happens in the future.
Would you be open to that? Have you ever thought about coaching?
Oh, ever since I was younger, I actually remember I was in a travel tournament in 16U, and I said to my coaches, I was like, I can't wait to be a coach one day. And they turned to me and gave me a funny look, like, yes, you can enjoy being a player now. It goes fast, but I didn't understand that at that point. I've always had like I guess a coach's mentality towards the game. I've always seen the game. I've always been able to slow the game down with my mind and understand the ins and outs of it. And I don't want to step away from baseball just yet. So yeah, being able to pass on some of my wisdom that I still have and help out the younger guys, I would love to in any way I could.
Here with Vinny D'Oria here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on a Friday heading into your weekend. Marywood baseball, Major League Baseball, and choosing the good overall. Let's jump into the major leagues. How are your thoughts at this point in the season, taking a look around the world of baseball? What are major storylines, thoughts, things that you've kind of circled on the baseball season so far?
I've paid more attention to my Yankees more than anything, and I've seen that the lineup is completely different every day. And I don't know this Yankee team yet, but besides that, one thing that stands out to me, and it seems like it comes up in every conversation I have about baseball this year, is the last place Red Sox in the AL East would be tied for first place in the AL Central. So that's one thing that's been baffling my mind is the lopsidedness of each division. That the AL East has always been a competitive division, but now you got the Rays and the Orioles, two of the smallest market teams in the country in the MLB, in first and second place of the most difficult division, in my opinion, of Major League Baseball. And then you got teams like the Arizona Diamondbacks, who are in first place ahead of the Dodgers, and the Cardinals, who have always been a great team and have the reigning MVP and third place finishing MVP in the NL last year, and they're sitting in last place. And it's just kind of, it's early in the year and things always balance out, but it's kind of a shocker to me. And then even to continue going to the AL West, there's 1 through 4 the very solid teams, and then you got that for now Oakland Athletics, who are sitting in last place, so like 14-50 on pace for like one of the worst seasons ever. Yeah. It's very crazy in terms of standings at this point.
Yeah, you mentioned my Diamondbacks and the fact that they're in first place right now in their division of the NL West. It's not the first time they've been there this season. They're back there again, 37-25, and they extended their manager yet again. This is the third time that the manager has gotten a 1-year extension, Torey Lovullo. What are your thoughts on what Arizona's doing right now?
I haven't paid too much close attention to any of the divisions besides the AL East, but I know that they've got just a bunch of small names that are putting it together and doing their thing. I know I like Corbin Carroll a lot. I think he's literally my age. I think he might be 22 years old. And he's killing in the big leagues. He just came up. He's a rookie.
Yeah.
They've also got Jake McCarthy, who is a Scranton High School alum. He grew up in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and he's killing it on the big scene. So we take a little pride in that that he's putting his name out there.
Yeah.
And then Zach Gallen is probably the most underrated pitcher in the MLB, and I think he finished top 3 in Cy Young last year, and he's killing it again this year. So they're exciting. They're exciting because they like I said about the Orioles and the Rays, they don't have a big payroll, but they're getting it done and they're playing good baseball.
Yeah, and you go to your division of the AL East where you said you paid the most attention. Tampa Bay Rays and the Los Angeles Dodgers. I got to go down and see them just a little bit over a week ago. And, Rays best team in baseball right now, looking at their record of 46-19. If they were in the National League, they would be leading the National League East by by almost 10 games. They would be leading the Central by more than 10 games. They'd be leading the West by almost 10 games. And if they were in the AL West, they'd be leading by a few games, by 6 games. And they'd be leading by 15 games if they were in the AL Central. So they're not only good in their division, but they would be leading every other division in baseball right now, some of them by a large margin. What are your thoughts on the Tampa Bay Rays?
They're kind of an anomaly. I mean, for the past, I'd say 4 or 5 years, they kind of just they had that little lull period where they weren't putting it all together, and then they really honed in on the metric side of baseball, which has changed them. They're firm believers in the numbers. I know Kevin Cash, their manager, is one of the biggest advocates for that, and their pitching staff is just unreal. I don't know where they find these guys. It seems like they call up anybody and they're lights out. I saw a tweet earlier in the year that was like, I think Scherzer and Verlander are getting paid a combined $86 million for one season, and the Rays' entire pitching staff is getting paid $22 million, and they're killing it. They got the best. I think they have the best team ERA in the league, and they just every hitter they have. I'm trying to think of a guy that is someone like not necessarily an Aaron Judge level, but a guy that steps up and you're like, oh, he's just going to hit a home run. But I can't. It's just guys that spray the ball everywhere. You got Wander Franco, Yandy Diaz, Isaac Paredes, and there's a whole bunch of different guys they throw in there that just get the job done every day.
Yeah, I got to speak with Wander as well as pitcher Jason Adam, and that was a lot of fun too. Be back in the clubhouse after all these years of covering the Rays over a decade ago, and then being able to get back in the clubhouse now and see a bunch of familiar faces and some new faces, and Wander Franco and as well as Jason Adam was so much fun, and to do a bilingual interview was really cool with Wander. So that was a lot of fun as well. The Baltimore Orioles, we've seen them before strike early. We've seen them come out first 15 games of a season, be really successful, right? And right now we're into, at this point, over 60 games. They're 38-24. They're the closest team to the Rays in their division is 6.5 games back, which is Baltimore. So to show you that how good these teams are, yet how far they are behind the Rays, is Baltimore for real? I feel like I've asked this question numerous times over numerous seasons because they look really good, but then you're like, they never make the playoffs. Is Baltimore for real right now? Do you believe that this team could be something late in the season, I should say?
If there's going to be one team in the AL East I root for besides the Yankees, it's going to be the Orioles. I mean, they're a fan favorite every year because they've had so many down years. I mean, the past however many years, they were the worst team in baseball. And because of that, all the draft picks have added up. And last year was a surprise. We say last year was a surprise year for them, going 81-81, and now they're killing it. They're in second place in the AL East. And, it's still, we haven't even hit the All-Star break yet. It's tough to say if they're legit yet because, as you see with so many teams, injuries happen and it could cripple an entire season. But their bullpen, Felix Bautista and Yainer Cano, they're two of the best relievers in all of MLB, and They've got their bats are all young. So I do think they could sneak now with the six team playoff each side. I really do think they could get into the playoffs. I wouldn't even say sneak in because they've been killing it. I think they can get in. Whether they can make some noise or not is we'll have to wait and see. But no, yeah, I believe in the Orioles. I do.
And then you look to the New York Yankees, your Yankees, like you said, it's hard for you to understand who they are right now with a lineup that keeps changing. But how do you view the Yankees at this point in the season?
It's either Aaron Judge is on the field or he isn't. When Aaron Judge is on the field, I don't think it doesn't feel like we lose. And then Aaron Judge gets hurt and he runs through a fence in Los Angeles, and then we drop 2 out of 3 games to the Chicago White Sox, who are not having a great year at all. It's frustrating because you don't know who's playing every day. You don't know who's playing where. Half the time, it's like I'm watching the Rail Riders just on the big league screen.
Yeah.
That's actually a cool part too, being so close to the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders, is that like we can go over to a game and just sit and enjoy and watch a game, and 3 days later, the guys we were just watching getting foul balls flipped up to are starting for the Yankees in the bigs. So, while it is frustrating, like I said, at this point in the season, it's not anything to worry about yet. And the Yankees always figure out a way. I don't think the Yankees. I can't remember the last time the Yankees have missed the playoffs. I think their worst record since the '80s has been like 86 and 78 or whatever, or 74, or 76. So, the Yankees figure it out always, and I'm not too concerned right now. But yeah, figure something out.
Toronto Blue Jays, they've had some good moments. They've had some positive moments in recent history. Right now, they have a winning record at 36-28, yet they're toward the bottom of the AL East. Once again, like you had mentioned, the Boston Red Sox, with their record, would be leading the AL Central right now, and right above them, the Toronto Blue Jays. What do you take away from the Blue Jays? I mean, this is a team that has had some really incredible shining moments, and then they've also had years where they're at the bottom of the barrel too. Where are the Blue Jays right now, in your opinion?
Yeah, the Blue Jays for the past few years have just been waiting for all their guys to break out. You got Vladdy, who does his thing. You got Bichette that does his thing. You got a veteran, George Springer, and I think they signed Kiermaier now, and they've got 2 of the better catchers in the big leagues, and they've got all the tools to do it. But at the end of the day, it just doesn't always click for them. And now their ace just got sent down to the spring training facility or whatever it may be in Florida. Alek Manoah is having an awful season after having a borderline Cy Young worthy season last year. So, it just hasn't all clicked for them. But that's what I mean about this division, is it's a dogfight to just get into the playoffs as it is. But once you're in, you're in. Anything could happen.
Yeah, and then the Boston Red Sox. I mean, as a Yankee fan, you're probably really happy to see them where they are. But what's your take on the Red Sox?
I haven't paid much attention, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah.
Just try to avoid the Red Sox as much as possible. I know they're playing the Yanks this weekend, though, which should be interesting. But yeah, I couldn't really tell you much about the Sox. I know a couple players on their team, but I'm not sure how they've been playing.
Now, with you being so close to the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders, like you said, the Yankees AAA franchise, what does that do for you? I mean, do you really try to be advantageous about it and get out there and try to see these guys and take pictures and watch games and get autographs? Are you trying to cross paths with the next superstar Yankee?
Well, when I do get out to the games, I go more just to watch and enjoy the environment. Just minor league baseball's fun, but a bunch of guys on our team, I'll name drop them, just Adam Anderson, Ethan Levine, they especially Adam, they're obsessed with going down there and talking to the guys. Adam will stand by the bullpen and heckle until a ball gets thrown up to him. His boys are Frankie Cordero. Who else? We had they went down to the dugout at the end of one of the games. Ben Rortvet, the catcher for them, who was actually up in the bigs last week or two. They got a video of him saying, "Let's go Pacers." They got a video of Wilmer Defoe saying, "Let's go Perses." So, It's a funny experience. They love going to the games and interacting with the guys, and the guys love interacting with them too. So it's a really funny and cool experience.
Yeah, I mean, and that's that that's something that I enjoyed when when you go out to these games and whatnot, is to be able to do that, and having the Syracuse Mets be connected obviously to the New York Mets here in my hometown, to have the pleasure of walking out there and seeing pitchers come through here, and different players come to, really, I mean, every position. I think there was 30 some odd guys that came through here last year, but Brett Beatty, that was fun to see him come in and see what he did. And then you see you get to see Scherzer come through, and I got a ton of great pictures of Scherzer from right there behind the plate. So I mean, there's something about AAA, single A, double A, triple A. What do you like about it, Vinny? I mean, because it allows so many cities all over the world, cities that don't have professional teams, to get to see these superstar players, all-star players, potential future Hall of Famers for like $8.
What a lot of people don't realize is like teams like the Yankees, AAA teams, or teams like the Mets, like their AAA teams are probably better than the Oakland Athletics this year. They have guys, and you could see that with yesterday. Billy McKinney got called up from AAA with the Yankees, and he hit a ball 407 in the big leagues last night. These are professional baseball players that are just on the cusp, and deserve to be starting on a lot of major league teams. But you get to see that, like you said, for the price of $8, you get to see them play at such a high level and right in our backyard. Even with I grew up in Orange County, New York, near Newburgh, and the Hudson Valley Renegades. They were the Tampa Bay Rays High A for the longest time, and then up a couple of years ago, they're now the Yankees High A. And going to those games growing up, I don't think I really understood the magnitude of it. I just thought it was local professional baseball. But little did I know, I was watching guys like Josh Hamilton, Ben Zobrist, Evan Longoria, Stephen Vogt, guys like that play right in front of my eyes when I was 7, 8 years, 9 years old, and I had no clue. And looking back, it's kind of a cool experience knowing that these guys were getting paid absolute dirt and playing in front of just local fans that had no clue about where they'd end up in their careers or anything like that. Minor league baseball is fun. You can watch 18-year-olds play against 35-year-olds. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
It was funny. We were talking about Wander Franco before. I wanted to mention you interviewed a $200 million plus 22-year-old last week, and now you got a Division III 22-year-old talking to you today.
Yeah, and it is. I mean, you guys just make it a little bit different money, but same age. So, Max Slusser, that's what it is. So he said hello to you. Dan B also sent you a message here. And I got a bunch of other messages that, let me see here, came through, so I want to give a shout out here. Dina said, thank you for sharing. We're definitely tuning in. Margaret Green said, awesome. Mary Starro, wow, that's awesome. Maureen Murray Nevin put MVP. And then we got Maria Dubois said, awesome. Donna Reynolds, that's awesome. So happy for Vincent. Tina Ross said, fantastic. Kathy Hammond said, that's awesome. So you got a lot of love and support this morning, my friend.
Yeah, my mom's Facebook page goes crazy.
So
she posts about me on Facebook like I'm a superstar, as any mom would, bragging about their son. But yeah, her friends and my family, they love to show out for me. So I'm very thankful for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate that love. And we're going to talk about what that means in a second here. Greg said, ironically, meeting a buddy tonight at an establishment right next to Marywood University. So, I don't know if he's talking about Andy Gavins or what he's talking about here, but some good stuff coming up here. But you talk about, that support from a mom and that love and that community and all that. Final piece of what we're talking about is choosing the good. Right before you came on, I was speaking about seeing through the haze. There was literal haze in central New York this week. How do you see through the haze? And what I mean by that is through your past experiences, through your trials and tribulations, through people that hurt you, through things that didn't go your way, through negativity, through people that say mean stuff to you on social media or to your face. How do you choose the good, Vinny, and see through the haze?
I think I can really speak on this and share my experience on something like this because a lot of the guys, a lot of my friends, obviously my family, my teammates, my coaches, they all kind of know the mental health and anxieties that I fought through specifically over the past year and a half, I'd say. Back in March of last year, I had experienced my first, I guess, true anxiety attack, and it landed me. I'm not scared to share this, but it did land me in the hospital, landed me in the ER, and I talked to the doctor there about everything, and they sent me for places to go talk to, and I just wanted to get home, go to sleep, because the next day I woke up and I had a game to play, and that goes along with the struggles of college athletes. You're just expected to. I wouldn't say expected because I've had my coaches and teammates tell me to take it easy, but at the same time, the passion that you have for the game, all you can think about, baseball being my outlet to get rid of that anxiety. All I wanted to do was go play. So, um, yeah, the last spring was a struggle for me, and this winter into the spring was tough on me again. And throughout, obviously having school and work and baseball and my leadership responsibilities and my family to worry about and personal relationships, I also have this like mental health battle, and it goes unseen. It goes unseen for me while I'm even experiencing it. You don't really realize how much it's affecting you. Um, so what has helped me is exactly what I'm doing right now. Being able to just talk about it, knowing that I'm not going to be judged for it, knowing that I'll almost be respected for it, knowing that other people understanding that it's something I go through, but it's not just something I go through, it's something everybody goes through. My mom always reminds me that you can walk into a room and no matter what face or facade someone has on, so everybody is going through something, no matter what. And that's one thing I realized when I started battling this anxiety is everybody always has something going on. It's not about just shutting up and getting through it. It's about having empathy for others and caring about others and understanding that we're all in this together. And it really opens your eyes. It helped me mature a lot going through something like this. And one thing that I kept on my wrist every all season, my mom gave me a bag of religious or a lot of scripture sayings, bracelets. And I found this one before the year I liked. I'll share it. It's Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a future and hope." And before every at bat, whether people in the stands noticed or my teammates noticed, I was always giving this a kiss before I stepped up to the plate because it kept my mind straight that no matter what was going on the field, off the field, God always had plans for me, and I was always going to be all right because everything always figures itself out. And I had experienced that in the past, and I knew that no matter what was going on in my life, that things would figure itself out. And that kept my head on straight, and it was a good reminder to look down on, especially after striking out twice and having to step up for your third at bat or something like that.
Yeah, and Vinny, I appreciate the fact that you share this. There's a connection that I think you would agree with me that you and I made when we first spoke, and I had said I want to have you back on the show. There was just something about it where I was like, it's not even a topic, it's not a certain thing, it's not even baseball. It's just that I wanted to have you be here because for something inside of me said, have Vinny on. Like there's something good that can come from this, and I'm seeing that right now in what we're talking about because I have different things that I wear or that remind me. And there's a cross that I found in my house now. So I had been married before, and when she had left, I thought, I'd given her most of her stuff, whatever. And I don't even know what this was. It was in the spare bedroom, and that I use it for storage because there's one spare bedroom, then there's another smaller one, and I use the small one for storage. I went in there and there was this cardboard box, and I opened it, and there's a styrofoam in it, and I open up the styrofoam, and there's a cross. There's this beautiful cross with like flowers on it and a quote from the Bible that's sitting there. And I just remember thinking to myself, like, I don't think this would be hers because she wasn't that religious. And I don't know who the heck would have given this to us. And so I took it out and I hung it on the wall, and I touch it pretty much every single day. And it's Psalms 46:10, and it says, "Be still and know that I am God." And what that says to me and what I think of when I touch it or when I think about it is that I so many times, and I was talking about this at the beginning of the show, wanting to be a dad and wanting to have, a family and marry the right person. It's meant so much to me my whole life. And you try to force it. You try to push it. You try to make whoever you're with be that person because they're not. And you try to make a bad situation a good one. And so when I touch that, be still and know that I am God, to me, I'm touching it for two reasons. Because of God reminding me, stop. Stop trying to make it. Stop running. Just be still and know that I have this. I'm God. You're not. I have control over this. I'm making the decisions. You be still and let me do me. And it's a constant reminder to me, and it works. So be still and know that I am God is one that has stuck with me in so many ways. The other one is, and I can't remember what verse this is, but it was something that I saw in two homes that I was working on at Hurricane Katrina relief. I saw it in back-to-back homes. I'm the one that found it in both houses. And then when I came home, my mentor, Mr. D, who I call Feeny D because he's like my Mr. Feeny, he gave me this, and it's in my bedroom. So I found it in two homes, and then he gave it to me, and he didn't know that I had found it there. And it said, Lord, help me to remember that there's nothing that I'll go through today that you and I together can't handle. So, yeah, I'm happy that you're open to talk about it, Vinny, because, I've talked to people about mental health on the show here before. And people say, why do you talk about bullying? Why do you talk about suicide? Why do you talk about this and that? I've had two friends commit suicide. And I had times in my life where I wanted to leave. I wanted to die. I wanted to disappear. And if I don't talk about that, then people see me 37 years old. They say, you travel the country, you get to go to Disney all the time, you got an amazing life. If I don't tell them that at 14 years old, I was battling this. At 20 years old, I was battling this. Through this breakup, I was battling this. In my marriage, I was battling this. Then if they just see 37 years old, successful, having fun, living his dreams, then they think, well, my life sucks and his life is great. But if I say to them, hey, 20 years ago, I thought about ending my life. I thought about giving up. Then all of a sudden that can speak to them and say, well, that's 23 years ago. And he's still here. So if he could do it, maybe I can do it. So I feel like we have to talk about mental health. We have to talk about suicide. We have to talk about being mean to ourselves physically, mentally, whatever. Because if we don't talk about it, then people that are hurting themselves, are mean to themselves, do want to give up. They're seeing you and I carry on our lives saying, well, they have a great life and my life sucks. But if we say, no, I've had anxiety, I've had those demons, I've had those nightmares, I've had that pain. If we admit that we've had that and they see us alive today, maybe we can save somebody's life. That's how I look at it.
That's why I share it. That's why I talk about it, because I'm such an outgoing guy that, I don't necessarily, I try not to necessarily show that in my life, because that's not necessarily the impression I want people to give of me, because I don't want, not that I don't want people to think that I'm not okay, because I know I'm okay. But at the same time, the more I share that, the more it's like people wouldn't necessarily, looking at my personality, think that I'm a type of guy that goes through something like this, that I experience these things. So it defeats the stigma, and it shows people that they're not alone, and that no matter who you are, it can affect you. And I think that's really important for everyone to see and understand.
So do you know where it came from? Do you know where yours was rooted?
Genetics.
Genetics?
My whole family is anxiety ridden, and it was about time that it caught up to me. And life speeds up a lot. Being the youngest of five, my whole life I had everything. I was very taken care of. I had a big support system, and then all of a sudden I'm 17 years old at school all by myself. My parents are. Well, I'm currently visiting them in South Carolina, but my parents are down here in South Carolina. My family is all over an hour and a half, 2 hours away in New York, and here I am in Scranton all alone at 17 years old, just trying to figure it out, just got thrown right into the fire. And
Yeah.
I think my freshman year is when the anxiety started. And then, you know, it really toned down for the next 2 years. And then, say my senior year, again, it really picked up, really amped up because, you know, that senior year freshman year is scary, and senior year could be even scarier. You don't know what the future holds. You don't know what the next step is. And,
Yeah.
yeah, it was a lot of denial at first. Like I had this anxiety and I just was like, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. Like I can deal with this. There's nothing, you know, I always said to myself, people are going through stuff way worse than I am. I'm okay.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
it came to the point where I couldn't shove it down anymore. And the last thing I wanted to do was see a doctor for it. But then I talked to my mom, my family, my friends, my support system, and they all thought it was the right decision. And looking back, it definitely was. And every day we're getting better, you know. And as the past month or so, 2 months, I've been in a real good spot. And yeah, just look to build on it. Always just keep trucking.
What works for you? I know you talked about your mom giving you a bag full of Bible verses and different things to wear. Beyond that, what do you find that works for you?
As simple as it is, if I'm stressed out or anything, I just sit down and play video games for an hour or two, and it just completely my mind will just go blank. You know, I'll just play MLB The Show, I'll play Madden, I'll play whatever. My mind will go blank, take it off everything, and I'm relaxed. Even just car rides with the windows down, specifically against some fresh air, like anything that just kind of helps me, you know, block all the noise out, you know. Um and then hanging with friends, obviously, because that's where you get your joy in life, you know, going out and hanging out with everybody and meeting new people. And there's a bunch of different things, you know. I think it's just living life and not getting it stuck in a rut or not necessarily a routine. But I think sometimes I can be too meticulous at the things I do, and really that like a routine will stress me out almost. You know, I like kind of being I don't know, say spontaneous almost. You know, that keeps you guessing, keeps life fun.
Yeah, you know, and I was talking about earlier in the show, the annoying moment of the week. I was discussing, you know, the things that are tough in relationships, and then lead seeing through the haze. You know, it seems like in today's world here in 2023, it's hard to find people that want to work with you, right? It seems like so many people are set in their ways, set in what they want, doing what they want to do, focused on them. You know, I've been through this. I'm not going to let this happen again. I need this. I need that. You need to give me. This is what I didn't have. This is what I want. What do you say to a world that is so caught up in me? Take care of me. Be good to me. Treat me well. Do what I want to do. You know, it's, I always say, I shouldn't say I always say, but I've started to say this, but I feel like it's so true, and I say it all the time now, but it's something that hit me recently. People treat people based on their past experiences. People respond to their present life based on past experiences. And they'll tell you, well, you got to hold the door open for me because he didn't. Well, you know, you got to go on this ride with me because she didn't. Well, you got to listen to me because they didn't. It's always like, do for me, do for me, do for me, do for me, show me. And they'll tell you you're selfish when you do something for you. But then in the same breath, they'll say, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you get me this? Why didn't you treat me this way? Why didn't you not do this because I didn't want to do it? It's like selfish in the midst of selfish. How do you respond to a world that's so me-centric, me-oriented, and it's like when you're dating or in friendship or just in general when you're meeting people, it seems like people nowadays are saying you need to live in my world instead of let's create a world together.
You know, life's tough and life's not fair, and I think everything that you're saying is you know, it's natural human instincts, you know, to care about yourself. It's a defense mechanism for a lot of people, but I even have experienced that. I still do every now and then, but to keep my head on straight, I kind of, not that I necessarily believe in karma, but like you said about holding a door open for someone, if I hold the door open for 5, 6, 7 people and nobody holds it open for me, eventually it'll pay off, you know. And even if it doesn't, as long as I know I'm doing the right thing and being myself and doing what I'm supposed to, then I can't be upset about, you know, something else not taking place or not getting it in return, because I know I'm being who I'm supposed to be, and at the end of the day, that's all you can do. You know, the world's a mean place, but that's why I'm very happy. I have strong support system around me. And I found a lot of people in my life that I'll cherish forever. And I know the type of friends I have, and you can't make everybody happy at the end of the day. And that's one thing I learned with leadership as well is, something you got to make tough decisions. You got to say the things that people don't want to hear, and people aren't going to be happy when they hear it. But I said to our new captain next year, Danny Becker, I said, as long as you know you're doing the right thing, that's all that matters. As long as you're satisfied with the decisions you made, um, and you'll be okay, and everything will take care of itself.
In a world where people say common sense isn't common anymore, how do you know you're doing the right thing?
That's the toughest part, isn't it?
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't realize that until weeks, months, years after. Like I'm still texting. I ask for reassurance a lot from my friends, my peers, and I'm still texting my friends like, hey, about moments 2 or 3 months ago during the season, like, hey, did I do this right? Like, did I handle this right? Did I do it right? And they're looking at me like, what do you mean? Why are you even questioning that? Like, of course you did. You did it. We thought you did a great job. So reassurance is very, like I said, having those people around you that aren't just yes men, like people that'll tell you how it is and tell you what you need to hear. It's very important to have in your life.
Yeah, absolutely. To have people, like you said, that aren't yes people, but that tell you the truth. And I talk about that all the time. My family, my friends are my family, but they never tell me what I want to hear. They tell me what I need to hear. What's going to make me better? And sometimes it's, hey, Dan, you're right. You didn't do anything wrong. And other times it's like, hey, man, you probably didn't need to do it that way. Maybe we could do it this way. But it's always constructive. It's never like, you suck. I hate you. You did it wrong. It's
right. I've heard that before, too.
Because there's that side of it where, I've had this conversation with somebody recently. They said, well, I'm just being honest. When I tell you I don't like something, or I don't want you to wear it, or I don't want you to listen to it, it's just me being honest. And to me, there's a difference between being honest and being rude. You can be honest and say, hey, I'm not a fan of this song, but you don't say change it, or it sucks, or I hate it, or why do you listen to it? I mean, if I don't like something, like if somebody, I guess if for an example, in let's say it in dating, if I was dating a girl and she loved the dress that she was wearing, but I wasn't a fan of the dress, I would never walk up to her and go, you look ugly in that dress. You look fat in that dress. You look stupid in that dress. I would say, do you? That's how you want to look. That's how you want to live your life. Like, live your life, because it's who you are. Now, if they said to me, what's your honest opinion? Is it too revealing? Is it too this and that? I'll tell you, but I would never walk up to someone and go, I hate your music, just so you know. I don't like that hat, just so you know. I don't like that you like, I've had people say, you like Disney? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, why? Because I do. I remember in dating, I had a girl say to me, I don't believe in God, you believe in God. So we're going to have a conversation where you tell me why you believe in God. Like, state your case. And I was like, I'm not on trial. I believe in God because I believe in God. And with all due respect, if you don't, that's your prerogative. I do. And I'm not going to spend hours defending myself and feeling like I'm a criminal. I believe in God because I honestly don't think there's any other way to live your life. And I don't know how anybody lives their life fruitfully without God. And I don't know how anyone logically believes that mankind created itself before it existed. So it doesn't make sense scientifically. It doesn't make sense historically. It doesn't make sense rationally or logically that God wouldn't exist. But if that's what you want to believe, that's your choice. But, I know I talk about, dating a lot in the show because I've had a lot of years out here, Vinny, and I can honestly tell you it is so hard to date nowadays because I feel like people meet you and automatically say, well, I like the way you look and I like the way you talk. And now I just want to like mold you a little bit so that you could be what I want, instead of somebody going, hey, I take you as you are.
Right.
And I find it really difficult in today's society it's really hard mentally, emotionally, socially, spiritually, physically to be proud of yourself when we live in a world where social media was meant to bring us together, but social media has become a place where everyone has an opinion about everything all the time. And you really have to be strong because you have to be able to handle when 350 people don't like the way you look, but you do. You have to be okay with that.
Yeah, it's tough because it seems like there's no reasoning with people anymore. You know, like people don't want to have a conversation. People just want to be right. It's my way, the highway. And even if you know they're wrong or you just disagree in general, there's no reasoning. There's no talk that follows that. You just get overpowered with yelling or whatever it may be. So I definitely see exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing how people are just like, nah, this is what I do. This is the right way to do it. And it's why is it the right? But like I said, I mean, one of the last things my ex-wife said to me was, you have to understand that not everybody has the same common sense. And I responded to her, well, then it would be called uncommon sense. And so, like, I mean, common sense. You shouldn't pee in public. You shouldn't dress up like an animal. You, on a normal day. Yeah, I mean, maybe for Halloween. You shouldn't defecate in public. You shouldn't run naked through the streets. You shouldn't kill people. You shouldn't steal. If you're at a grocery store, you should shop from the shelves and not from other people's carts. There's common sense. And I just feel like, I don't know what happened, Vinny, but it's almost like people that knew that they were doing something wrong needed to be told they were doing something right so that they didn't have to feel bad about it. And somewhere in society, we started telling everybody that everything's okay. And if everything is right and nothing is wrong, then what is truly right? And I think that's where we are right now. So to sift through all this haze, how do you do on a daily life with anxiety, with mental health stuff, with life in general? How do you know you're doing something right? How do you know that it's okay to be Vinny? And how do you know that you don't have to apologize for being who you are?
It's funny you say that because like it's tough to identify that. I think I've just become comfortable in my own skin and being who I am and accepting that if people don't want to be around me, they don't want to be around me. That's perfectly fine with me. Like you said in our last interview, if you don't want to spend time with me, why would I want to spend time with you? You know, I want to be around people that enjoy my presence and enjoy being around me. And I feel like I've been saying, I feel like I found that support system, and I feel like I found the people that, you know, want to be around me. And sure, like some may come and go, but at the end of the day, you know, the ones you have. I was having a conversation with my mom, and I'd say I bicker or butt heads with my mom and my family more than anybody else. But at the end of the day, I know they're not going anywhere. And I think that it's a comfort thing knowing that I can release some tension and vice versa with each other, because, you know, sometimes you do that with your friends and things get a little edgy, but you do that with your family, you know, they'll always be there for you. And it's a comforting feeling, you know, and I'm very happy for the people I have in my life.
So what would you say to somebody watching, listening, in closing here that's searching for their identity, stressed out, kind of is letting the world kind of make them a chameleon? What would you say to them?
I'd say Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a future and hope.
Vinny Dioria. Vinny, I knew there was a reason why you stayed on my mind to have you back on the show, and I'm going to be honest with you here. I think we need to do this more often.
I'm with that. I'm always available.
Vinny Dioria here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Marywood Baseball, Major League Baseball, but more than anything else, positive energy for you today and always. Vinny, you're in my prayers. You're in my well wishes. I love that you lean on God and you lean on people that truly love you, because it's everything that I've talked about here today, and it's the only way, in my opinion, to surround yourself with good and to keep God at the center of your focus, and to have those things that you know work, to look at your wrist or to say something to yourself or whatever it may take, or grab your cross, you know, on your chest, whatever it is to have that. So I can't thank you enough for not knowing what this was going to be today, but seeing it. I mean, you definitely are an inspiration, and anytime you're having a tough day, you know that you can give me a call.
Thank you, Dan. I really appreciate that. I have a pleasure coming out here all the time. I'm happy we can talk and communicate about whatever. Just off the rip.
Absolutely. Vinny Dioria here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, spreading positivity, spreading love, and giving you some light, helping you all see through the haze. Give your family my best. Give them a hug, and do something nice for Mom today. I butt heads with my mom, too, so make sure you go do something nice for her. And as always, Vinny, thank you for everything.
No, thank you, Dan. I appreciate it.
All right, I'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you.
That coming once again from Vinny Dioria here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We're going to take our final step aside and wrap up the show right after this. New York has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York. Open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicollis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Kampground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Kampground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Kampground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9Kampground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and Kampground spelled with a K.com. K9Kampground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout Central and Upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. This is a special message from 317 at Montgomery restaurant owner Joel Carpenter. Open Tuesday through Saturday for your dining pleasure on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York.
We wanted to be a part of the resurgence of Syracuse. We saw a lot of money being put into bringing people back downtown and thought that, we'd like to be a part of that. I love putting together a good dish where people see it first, they fall in love with it, and then it tastes just as good as it looks. We want to provide the best food in Syracuse that we possibly can, and we want you to leave here talking to your family, your friends about what you had to eat first and foremost, but also our service, and to walk out feeling like you're part of our family. I work out in the front of the house a lot, and I love walking to every single table, asking them how everything is, and people looking at me and smiling and saying, this is the most amazing short rib I've ever had. This is the most amazing filet I've ever had. And Donna is great. Sarah's amazing. Thank you for coming over and talking to us. And them just being truly happy for the experience that they've gotten.
317 at Montgomery Restaurant, part of the fabric of downtown Syracuse, located on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York. Open Tuesday through Saturday for a unique and memorable dining experience.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. We appreciate you being here every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Facebook.com/WakeUpCallDT, YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com, which is playing for you on WakeUpCallDT.com's home page. Once the shows go live, you can jump into the archives. Find us on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, MixLR, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, Player FM, Podbean, Podvine, YouTube, and more. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. So make sure you do that today. And we appreciate everybody that has. Thank you so much. It is free to do, so find us on your favorite podcasting platforms today. And of course, thanks to our incredible partners, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, as well as PB&J's Lunchbox, Mother's Cupboard, Great Lakes Honda City, 317 at Montgomery Street, Chick-fil-A Cicero, and Chick-fil-A Clay, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, Avicoli's, Canine Kampground Dog Boarding, Pizza Man, and Chick-fil-A Watertown. Of course, we are proud to be the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Lemoyne College Dolphins. It's Fins Up every single month on Wake Up Call, and on Wednesdays at 9 a.m. we bring you AD and DT the first and third Wednesday of each month with Athletics Director Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora. And every second and fourth Wednesday we bring you the Dolphin Dive, diving into the stories of student athletes as well as coaches, administration, future Dolphins, and alumni. Under promise and over deliver is what we do here on Wake Up Call, and you can find these specials with Lemoyne on the Lemoyne page on wakeupcalldt.com and by subscribing to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt and searching our AD and DT and Dolphin Dive specials. For more information on your Dolphins, go to LeMoyneDolphins.com, and as always, fins up. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse. Syracuse Bobcats are available for you on site, on location, on James Street. That's where the school is for Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse. Make sure you go out there. They have fantastic programs for you, and of course, a wonderful place to continue your eligibility or start your eligibility. Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse with national champions in men's and women's soccer, as well as nationally competitive teams in men's and women's basketball, an inaugural season and history being made with baseball and esports on the come up at Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse. You can get our specials by going to the BSC Syracuse tab on wakeupcalldt.com, and of course by subscribing to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. For more information on your Bobcats, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com. As always, go Bobcats. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, I want to thank Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory for making the best snacks in Central and Upstate New York. It's the CNY Snack Capital. Get yourself over to 201 Old 7th North Street and know what I'm talking about in Liverpool, New York. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory bringing you what's poppin'. Thanks to Carvel DeWitt for the annoying moment of the week. Go and get my DT Dolphin, Lemoyne Dolphin-centric Sunday available exclusively at Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York. The only Carvel, I believe, potentially in all of America that has the Dolphin coming out of any Sunday. Lead, learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver with the fantastic and wonderful team at Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. Big shout out to Jimmer Sikowski and the crew over there. Top Dog of the Week presented by Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding. In my opinion, the only place to bring your dogs of any kind, and wonderful, wonderful animals, big and small. Those dogs all have a home at Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding. And our top dog of the week, Christy Salters Martin. And of course, for a fantastic conversation that ended with really wonderful and beautiful advice and aid and help for those with mental health or anxiety or anything going on in your life. What a wonderful messages from Vinny Dioria. So I want to thank Vinny for that, and much appreciation and respect to Vinny Dioria, Marywood Baseball, as well as talking about Major League Baseball, and beyond that, choosing the good and mentioning God and the plans that God has for us to prosper us and not to hurt us. So God bless you, Vinny, and God bless your family. Thank you all for tuning in. Find us 24/7, and I'm going to be putting stuff up all weekend, so you need to get on these wonderful channels. Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, Twitter at Call DT, Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT, and of course, as always, my wonderful, wonderful folks out there, God bless